What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news, some surprising news concerning Andre Ward and Max Kellerman. Boxing commentators Andre Ward and Max Kellerman depart from ESPN roles. ESPN's coverage of boxing will have a different look moving forward on Friday as a part of the series of dramatic cost-saving cuts. Max Kellerman was among the nearly 20 on-air talent to be laid off from the Disney-owned company. Kellerman, who turned 50 years old in August, was a TV and radio fixture on ESPN for 25 years, dating back to the network's programming of Friday Night Fights. Kellerman joined ESPN's now defunct boxing show in 1998 out of college. Most recently, Kellerman hosted the Max on Boxing show, had a national daily radio show, and was frequently featured on Top Rank's boxing cards on ESPN. Kellerman was also an analyst for HBO until the network left boxing in 2018. According to the New York Post, Kellerman was making in the $5 million a year neighborhood at ESPN. Along with Kellerman, the likes of radio co-host Keyshawn Johnson, as well as Jeff Van Gundy, Steve Young, Jalen Rose, Zuski Colbert, Todd McShay, Matt Hasselbeck, and LaFonso Ellis were among the talent who were also let go. On Saturday, shortly after serving as an analyst for the ESPN card headlined by Jared Anderson's win against Charles Martin, Hall of Famer Andre Ward announced on social media that he would no longer continue working for ESPN, a role he'd held since 2017 upon retirement. Tonight's show was the last fight under my ESPN contract, the 39-year-old Ward wrote. It's been a great ride, and I'm going to miss the whole ESPN crew that I've worked with for the last 6 years. I'm excited about my future and the chance to work on new projects and endeavors. Great things are ahead. Let me counterpunch. I think Max Kellerman, it's kind of strange to see them get rid of Max. I mean, amongst the guys or the people that I mentioned, Max, I think, is by far the, I can't say the most qualified, but definitely the most warranted, simply because he's been around so long. And what I think what happens with a lot of these networks, they see those guys that been around a while, and they look at the biggest or the easiest way to cut the biggest amount of cost. Well, if Kellerman was making $5 million a year, that's how they're looking at it. Well, let's get rid of Kellerman. Let's get rid of this big fish, because this big fish is costing us money. You know, so the things that we're paying Kellerman $5 million to do, we can pay someone else, you know, a lot less to do, you know. And I think that's what happens, you know, unfortunately, with these businesses, because I know exactly what that's like, you know, where, you know, a big higher up will just say, you know what, let's cut all that out, you know, because I've witnessed it, and it sucks. But Max Kellerman, I think, you know, is a guy that could easily make $1 million or more a year, you know, by himself. He can make his own YouTube channel, in fact. You know, knowing the things that he knows and the knowledge that he possesses, you know, I think that he could do well. I think the same thing for Andre Ward. Andre Ward, you know, a lot of guys that they have already had the accolades. They know about boxing. They're experienced. They're champions, Hall of Famers. I think those guys like that, you know, don't need ESPN. Even though I think Andre's situation was in a way where he just, you know, did the, he used the way of integrity. Like, he already knew, like, they probably won't renew my contract. So since it's over, c'est la vie, right? Because it's like, you're knowing if they got rid of Max, and then I've been around since 2017, you know, I know they're not going to renew it. So that's their way of saying, hey, we're not going to renew your contract. So yeah, it would suck, and it won't be the same without those guys, because, you know, I like Andre Ward's take on things because he's actually been in the ring, inside the ring. And then Max, generalized overall gives you a complete breakdown on a lot of these fighters. But nonetheless, he's still going to be at the fights. I think he will still get the hype. He will still get the notoriety. He doesn't need ESPN for that because Max Kellerman is Max Kellerman. And Andre Ward is also SOG Andre Ward. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Andre Ward leaving ESPN, Max Kellerman act off ESPN. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!